guys, welcome back to another new podcast. I have the Plagon King himself, Sam. What's up, Sam? How you doing, buddy?
Not much. How are you, man?
Yeah, I'm great, man. We had some technical difficulties, but we got it, man. Let's talk about Plagon. The fucking, what is he called? Lord of the Beach? Fucking Patrick Star at CDH. I saw this and I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I see it everywhere. Like, every other pod I play on Spell Table, it's Plagon. And I'm like, all right, I gotta get my hands on this deck. And then I saw you fucking won a tournament with it.
Yeah, man. It's just big vibes on the beach, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Is the deck
Plagon's
fun?
real fun to play.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah,
it.
for
It,
sure,
it
for sure.
looks fun. Like Azorius normally isn't fun. It's just control stacks. Grand Arbiter, Lavinia. Then like maybe Shorakai. But now I just feel like this deck is just like you want to draw cards, you want to flicker spells.
Yeah,
That's awesome, man. So let's get
you do
in.
all the fun things. You're playing a lot of weird cards that wouldn't normally be played in CDH, but Plagon makes it work.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the deck tech later, but let's get into it. You look like you're fucking 20 years old? When'd you get into Magic and when'd you kind of get into CDH?
I started playing when I was about 17.
Okay.
Got into CDH a couple of years ago. First deck I ever played was Anala, and eventually I just like upgraded that so much it became CDH, and that's kind of how I got into the format. But yeah, I've been playing Magic for about 6 years now, so quite a while.
Oh wow. Okay, cool. Sweet. What was your set? Do you remember your
But
first set?
of course, I know there's. Sorry, what's that? Oh shit, my camera just fell. No
Hey,
big deal. What'd you say?
you're good, man. What was your first set? Do you remember it?
Amonkhet.
Oh, okay, cool. That's
Yeah,
sweet. Yeah, you're older than me. I'm only like 3 years in.
nice. So that's what, like Ikoria or something.
No, it's fucking the shit ass Midnight Hunt set with the
Oh yeah,
wolves. Yeah.
like
Oh man,
that's cool.
good time. So let's get into it. Let me read this guy. Alright, so Plagon Lord of the Beach. It's 2 and a blue legendary creature, Starfish Wizard. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card for each creature greater than its power. And the bottom ability, I don't even know if the bottom ability is relevant, but it's Azorius hybrid. Target creature control assigns combat damage equal to toughness after than its rather than its power this turn. So give me the good stuff of this deck. Like, why play this deck? Is this deck for beginners? How much fun is this deck? Is this a real like tournament CDH deck?
Um, so that's a good question. The last one.
Hit me, man. Hit me.
Yeah, it's like I'd say like when I read the card, it seems pretty broken, like just a really good draw engine, right?
Mm,
So that's what like attracted me to the deck.
mm,
But it's like the games that I found like that I've played have taken a long time for me to like convert into a win. That's definitely the weakness of like Azorius and EDH in general.
yeah.
It's like the win cons are a little light.
Uh huh.
So the concern is, are you able to win in 80 minutes, which is what you have?
Mm,
Because Plagon does end up doing really well in the long game,
mm,
and like you win a lot of the games that grind out, just because you have so much card advantage. So that's kind of like the rundown that I like my first reaction of the deck, how I felt about it in the tournament. Like I just felt super lucky that I was able to like squeak out in the top 16. I actually started off like 0-3 in the tournament, and I just like
oh
won the
shit.
last couple of rounds of six. Yeah. But
Oh
once I got to
three
top 16, I
dropping.
felt good because there was no timer. Yeah, I had like I had two draws, so
Mm,
it wasn't 0-3, but I didn't have a win by round four.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Good.
no, just gonna say yeah, that was kind of the rundown of the tournament experience. At least like once
Mm.
you get to top 16, like it feels really good.
Yeah, kind of run me through the tournament a little bit. I mean, it wasn't no tournament to bat your eyes at. Like, How did the deck feel? Did it feel like you were running out of time? Did it feel like when you're 0-3 or round 4 you don't have a win yet? Like how did that work? And then get into the top 16 and then top 16 and top 4. How'd you squeak out these games? Is Plagon very mid range? Is it very like, hey, I'm gonna cast my commander, draw cards, and flicker, or is it I have all these creatures in the deck and when I cast Plagon I'm winning because I'm drawing 6 cards? Kind of like give us the
Right.
the TLDR of it.
Right. Yeah. So it's like just like a really good control deck. It's really good at not losing.
Okay.
Um, so that's why you go to time so much is because you're stopping people from winning and not necessarily actually like presenting a win yourself. However, like the way you do win is by like eventually you snowball, you draw so many cards that
Mm-hmm.
like you're bound to win. But that can just take a while, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why you end up going to time. But I think you end up playing Plagon fairly early in this deck.
Okay.
Um, you want to get like at least one creature with like a butt, I call it, like bigger toughness than power.
Yeah.
Um, and then you can get to like a draw two, and hopefully that will like accelerate you into flicker effects so that you can keep going and get
Mm-hmm.
your card advantage that way. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of like the general strategy of the list.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a lot of other things, like you said, we can go into them like later, more niche things later in the video. But
Yeah. I'm just curious of how like so it's like an Azorius control deck until your storm turn, pretty much. It's like I'm gonna play my command. I'm
exactly,
gonna play my engines. I'm gonna play my commander, and then like that one turn, like I see Preston. I did look when I was preparing for this pod. I did see like I was looking at comedians list. I was looking at a couple other lists, and it looks like you're not on a lot of the other win cons, like the Mayhar, whatever that card's called. And I'm trying to find like win lines in the deck. How's this deck winning? I see blind obedience. I see hull breaker loops. Is like infinite mana stuff or
yeah. So Hullbreaker is a really good way to win. And then like the two actual ways to win the game, you know, like the Thoracles of the deck are
mm-hmm.
Blindo and Glaring Fleshraker. Um,
Oh,
like
okay, okay.
yeah,
I got you. I got you. I was thinking maybe like Fairy Mastermind and Angel's Grace, but yeah. Okay. I got you. I got you. So how does this deck
I just
fare? What's that?
sorry, I was just gonna say I find like a lot of those cards are really dead. Um,
Right.
like
Right. Right.
Narumeha and like yeah, like especially the weird like I don't play any of the 3 mana flicker spells. Like those are clunky, and then like Narumeha just never felt good when I tested it. Um,
Yeah.
like eventually you'll just like draw your deck, and if like some for some reason like both of your Glaring Fleshraker and Blind Obedience are gone, and you're like fishing for a win con, you can just like bounce everything with Hullbreaker or like set up some kind of like lock on the board with your stacks pieces, and then just
Mm-hmm.
hold up all your counter magic and like swing at them with constructs or like just
Yeah.
basic thing. Like you don't actually need a win con. Like it's like a win conless strategy, but you do
Yeah.
have the two, of course.
What I like with this deck is it's kind of like the Magna, right? Like, yeah, your card quality is probably down with the Ornithopters, Phyrexian Walkers, Glaring Fleshrakers, but it makes up for synergy, right? Like the whole deck is trying to do the thing. Like you have your stacks pieces like the Soulless Jailers and stuff like that. But you're giving up like a lot of these creatures are accidentally bigger toughness than power, and it works. Like Giver of Ruins is great. Spellskite, Felidar Guardian, all the zero drops. Urza is a 1/4 that you wouldn't even think of. Like that's so I like that. I did notice there's no Grand Abolishers that you just don't need it.
Yeah, it's like the deck is really tight on slots, and it's like actually pretty hard to get the game plan to function just because it's like kind of janky. I don't know.
Okay.
Like it works, but you just like can't afford to be playing these cards that don't really help you like draw or anything like that.
Oh, okay, I got you. So
Ranger Captain and yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, go, the pot is yours, man. I got so many questions. So you're saying is
It's just
the deck is so tight, it probably wouldn't be for beginner then, right?
yeah, and I'm sorry, it's just the lag. I feel like we're jumping on top of each other, but
It's
I
okay.
think it is. You could play it as a beginner for sure. Um,
Yeah, draw cards, counter
yeah,
spells.
like play your guys with the toughness, and then play your Plagon, and then start to flicker him, and eventually you'll have so many cards that you'll find some way to win the game.
So like the cards that like Andrew Captain's a 3/3, Delny's a 2/2, but Delny's probably like the best creature in the deck, right? Like you can give up it not triggering your commander for doubling your commander, right? Like,
Yeah,
and the combat damage is a
yeah,
thing.
Donnie's really cracked. Yeah, Donnie's really cracked. Displacer Kitten's really cracked. Like
Yeah,
all of the cards that aren't actually like toughness higher than power are like only in the deck because they're really good.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
That's funny. Hullbreaker is 7/8.
I know, right?
Oh, that's so
And
stupid.
he's a sea monster, which matches the beach. Like, it's great.
Yeah, I saw this deck and I'm like, all right, this is just a fucking meme. And they're like, oh no, 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 the deck keeps top fouring every tournament. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like a meme, but also scary.
Oh yeah, Splash Portal. You're on all the mana rocks. You can play the Grafdigger's Cage. You're on all the enchantment effects. Okay, looking some sideboard. Okay, I got you. I got you. What's your interaction package? Yeah, just all the good stuff. 10
You got a lot of counters.
commandeer, misdirection. Okay, I got you.
I'll say Commandeer has been MVP for this deck.
Dude, I've been putting that card in every non-Adnaz blue deck, dude. I'm playing Glarb right now, and I have extra turn Glarb list. And Commandeer is just so fun. I'll take your Necropotence instant speed, thanks.
Yeah, and they're jamming it like turn one. It just feels so good. Like
Mhm.
you just get a free Necro.
Yeah, you're like, I'll exile my Mockingbird and my Phantasmal Shield back for a Necro. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's talk about a couple individual card choices like Urza. I haven't seen Urza in any lists. Is this just you have infinite mana outlet and you could just use all your like stuff to tap?
Um, so the deck is really bad at making mana. Um,
Okay.
like you don't have rituals like black does. You don't have rituals like red or anything like that.
Yeah.
Um, so like Urza is good for that reason. Obviously got the 4 toughness, the 1 power.
Mm.
Um, it synergizes with your flicker effects, which is nice. But like the main reason it's good is because you have the 3/0 drops that are artifacts, and then there's Thraben and the other Thraben like duplicate, whatever, Novice Inspector, that both make a clue that tap for Urza. So you just have like a lot of incidental artifact, Craft Digger's Cage, things like that.
Okay. So what would you say the weaknesses are and the strengths? So weaknesses you'd say mana and strengths would be card draw?
Yeah, definitely. Like I talked about earlier, like the first thing I mentioned, the weakness is not being able to convert on time. Like the deck just takes a long time to win, and that's fine, but also like a problem if you're trying to play tournaments.
Mm.
Um, so that's the main weakness. But the strengths are like you do win most of the long games. Um,
Really?
it's just like it's
Huh.
very hard to like yeah, like the deck stops win attempts super well.
Mm.
Um, and like every card just like draws you cards basically, and that's like really valuable in a mid-range game, right?
Yeah. So how'd you win the tournament? Like you said, you went 0-3, maybe a draw or two. How'd you get in the top 16? And then how'd you win the damn thing? Like what'd you go against? You see a lot of blue farms, you see a lot of control, and you just out grinded them because there wasn't a time limit.
So yeah, starting off with the draws was pretty rough, but in round four, I got lucky enough to like resolve Displacer Kitten and Preston, and no one like did anything. I just untapped with those cards, and
Hmm.
it was a pretty free victory with those in play. And then round five, if I can remember, I think it was like Displacer Kitten plus Plagon. If not that, like I don't know, I can't remember that round too well, but
You're fine.
I do remember the top 16.
Hmm.
Yeah, sorry, but the top 16 was like against Rog Thras, a Dihada player, and um like Timna Thras. And that was like a pretty long game. It felt like a 1v1 between me and Rog Thras for most of it. But I ended up just like getting a hull breaker out on a really like clumped up board, and that was pretty much able to help me get the win
Yeah.
in that round. But that was a super close game. And yeah, I don't know.
Cool.
Um, I there's plenty more things I could say about that round, but we can just move on for now.
I got you.
Um,
What about the top four?
this was like Curse Totem, which actually is not in my list anymore. I cut it, but Curse Totem was in my hand for the top four, and I was playing against Sisei, Tameshi, and Narset, 6 mana Narset of all decks, which was pretty cool to see in the top four.
Mm.
Um, but Curse Totem was just like MVP for that game. The Tameshi went for a turn two win, and um, Sisei stopped it, so we were lucky that we didn't just die. But after that, Tameshi played a Dranith, and then I had like nothing to do because I couldn't get Plagon out, but I had Aristic, so I was like kind of in the lead.
Hmm.
I ended up commandeering a expropriate from the Narset, which was crazy, and then
Oh,
like
it's so good.
got two turns. Yeah, it's so good, right? So good. But after that, like my two turns didn't really do anything with the commandeer, surprisingly. But eventually, I drew like an out for this Dranith Magistrate and was able to just combo off. But it was also a very grindy game. I think both like my top 16 and my top four games were like 2 hours at least.
Yeah. Okay. I gotcha. I gotcha. That's awesome, man. I mean, Plagon is his deck. I think right now it's the conversion rate is like top 10, if not top 15. Like it's doing very well, and I think it's been out a month or two now. Like it's definitely a surprise deck in 2025, and I can't wait for more people to pick this deck up. Right, like, and also
Yeah, no,
I feel like a few decks kind of uh like the ban happened, right? So that hit everybody, and I feel like a few decks like the Sans Blue Warnog list and this list I feel like would do worse pre-ban. So post-ban happens and then Blue Burrow happens. Right, is this Blue Burrow, I think? No, but there's a lot of Blue Burrow cards in here. I feel like this deck does better. Um
yeah, I feel like post bans the format just got cracked wide open.
mhm.
Um,
We're talking about
you can
Plagon
just
right
do
now.
so many things.
Yeah.
I know,
You know
but
what I mean? Like I love the Starfish, but pre-ban I just don't see it being Roxai and Blue Farm. Now since the meta is probably a turn one, turn two slower, like you said, you can do that stuff.
for sure, for sure.
So what do you think is the
Um,
best card in the deck? Is it Displacer Kitten? Is it Preston?
Probably Displacer Kitten.
Yeah, I feel like once you get that,
Um,
it resolves. It's over.
yeah, because you just cast a non-creature, flicker Plagon, then oops, I drew a non-creature. I'll repeat.
Yeah, I'm a big Tavish guy, and Tavish and Displacer Kitten are best friends.
Yeah,
You got Teferi. Let's see what all these little dumb things do. I feel like this is a Bloomborough tribal deck. Dewport
yeah,
Mage.
it's weird.
Whenever one or more other creature controls the battlefield without dying, draw a card. Okay. good synergy. You have Thraben Inspectors of Clues. Phantasmal Shield back becomes a target with spell, sacrifice it. When it dies, draw a card. Okay, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, like the 1 mana ones and the 0 drops obviously don't do anything aside from just giving you toughness, but they're super necessary.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
I gotta ask, is the bottom ability of Plagon relevant? Because I see games where you can just start beating people down.
Yeah, it's like not really relevant, but every once in a while you'll be able to like get a few damage in, which is sometimes relevant. So I don't know. It doesn't usually come up, but it's there. Like you should know what it does for sure.
Yeah, I gotcha. Trying to see anything else. Poly Prodigy is probably insane in this deck.
That's probably like the most real card we're playing. Maybe that Spellskite and Dranith, that are like coincidentally bigger toughness.
Mm-hmm. Witch Enchanter, it's a land. Phyrexian Metamorph. I noticed you're on 3 clones. What are you looking to
Yeah,
clone
the
here?
clones are super good. Weirdly enough, I find myself cloning my opponent's creatures that have toughness, like Thrasios,
Yeah.
things like Thrasios, things like that.
Excuse me.
Um,
Yeah.
but no, you're all good, man. But you can also just like clone your Plagon and draw a couple of cards if that's necessary. But I like to clone my opponent's things that have toughness that are
Oh,
like actually good cards.
okay. So you can clone your Plagon, let your Plagon die, state based actions, and then just recast it next turn. I got you. Okay.
Yeah, that does come up. That play pattern does come up for sure if you have nothing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So what kind of is the play pattern of the deck? Is just turn 1 mana, turn 2 Plagon, or turn 3 Plagon? Like you looking for early espers? Like what's kind of like what would a game if you could like say an average Plagon game? What does that look like to a new player trying to pick this deck up?
You want to draw as many cards as possible for sure. Whether that's casting your Esper, your Fish, or your
Yeah.
Plagon with a bunch of guys and then flickering it, whatever
Mm-hmm.
it is, you want to draw cards because you have so many interaction spells to stop what your opponents are doing. If
Mm-hmm.
you have a draw engine, you'll be able to play the long game for sure. That's the goal of the deck.
Draw cards.
Draw, yeah, it's actually that's why I say it's like pretty easy for new players. You just want to draw cards.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm building the I'm building the casual high power deck, and every card in the deck besides basic lands are gonna say draw card on them. And then as I'm
Nice.
building it, I'm like, oh, this deck's cracked. Oh shit. Whoops.
That's funny. What's the commander for that?
I haven't found one yet because I went on Scryfall and I'm about 400 cards deep.
Okay.
I literally went alphabetical order looking. I have not. It's probably got to be 5 color because there's a lot of like crazy
Yeah.
cards. But anyways, but this I don't need to build that. This is draw card tribal. I'm gonna go on the sideboard a little bit. We got some Thoracle, Grand Arbiter, Eldrazi
I did not make
Displacer.
the sideboard is not mine. I have no nothing to say about that.
Okay, well I'm just not used to this deck. I'm
Yeah,
kind of
no, that's
looking.
fair. That's fair.
Just kind of looking at the ideas, the cards that kind of aren't in the deck.
Yeah,
Gilded Drakes. Oh, are you on Flood Color? I just noticed that.
I'm not on flood
You are
caller.
not on Flood Color. Man, that card's fucking busted. Oh, I guess Plague. You can't cast Plague on instant speed.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's one
Oops.
one sorcery in the deck.
Yeah. I got you. I got you. Yeah, that is kind of weird. One sorcery. Well, I mean, what else are you working with? Seagate Restoration, Time Twister. Yeah.
Yeah,
Emrakul, that'd be fucking cool. Elishnorn, Consecrated Sphinx. Yeah, I might throw. I think I'm gonna build this. I think I'm gonna put some jank on it. You're not on path. Okay. Submerge, Ghostly Flicker. I love Paradox Outcome. That's one of my favorite cards.
yeah,
But
that card's sick.
it's not a flicker though. You're not a One
No,
Ring? What?
no, man, Plagon draws you enough.
Stop. Stop. This is like
I'm
a top
serious.
10 CDH card. No way.
Bro, try out. Bro, I said try out my list. Like you'll
All
see.
right. All right. Hey, you won the tournament, not me. All right. That'd be the only card that. You're gonna steal enchantment, but not One Ring. Get out of here. Get out of here, bro.
Steel enchantment is cracked. Everyone in Madison will agree with me.
You know what else is cracked? The One Ring. All right, let's.
Yeah,
I'ma build it. I'ma build it. Was there anything else before I get off this? Is there any crazy like win line or anything like somebody has like someone like me, right? I've played CDH. That's what I do. I have a CDH podcast. If I sleeve the deck up, is there anything crazy I need to know? Like any interaction? Like Preston, I know. Like obviously he's cracked.
yeah. So, like, you want to know Preston plus Felidar goes infinite.
Oh, does it?
Um, yeah,
Whenever a
and
non-creature
then
creature is battlefield under your control, if it wasn't cast, create a token that's a copy of it.
so if you can blink your Felidar, you'll get a token of Felidar that will blink your original Felidar, and then that will make a token, and then you just repeat that.
Yeah, but how do
Um,
you? Is that infinite mana or is this infinite 1/1s?
it's infinite 0/1s, and then you can flicker your Plagon and draw your deck.
Oh, okay. The last iteration, flicker Plagon.
Yeah. Also, like if you have Felidar Guardian and a clone and a Dowerport Mage, that will draw your deck.
Felidar
Um,
Guardian and a clone. Clone of what? Clone of Felidar
you
Guardian?
clone, yeah, and then they flicker each other, and each time you do that, the Dowerport will draw you one.
So wouldn't you want like a Labman or a Jace in this deck? Because like that's infinite. Like I'm drawing 800 cards, but I only have 80 cards in my deck, right?
Yeah, that's like a super easy way to win the game, but those cards are like don't actually do anything for your strategy. Thoracle's kind of an argument because it has a but like they're just dead draws usually. So you just want to like draw into your Hullbreaker Horror and then make the blind obedience loop happen.
Yeah, I'm just talking about like instant speed, right? Like, okay, I draw my deck, but I'm about to die because you're drawing
Well,
all of
you
them at
you
one time, right?
you can stop the Felidar loop whenever you want, so you don't actually have to draw your full deck. You can draw like 90 cards or whatever.
Okay, I got you. But
Yeah.
with Oracle, isn't it like I play Gyruda, and you know I've won a lot with Gyruda. With my devotion is like 40 blue with Oracle, so I feel like in this deck you can just Oracle things, right? Infinite mana, draw my deck. That's easy. Okay, it's a dead card, but so is Phantasmal Shieldback. But with Oracle, you could just play it for devotion early game and just flicker it with all your flicker spells when you're trying to win, and you can do that instant speed, right? Or is it just that bad of
Yeah.
a card?
It actually is just that bad of a card. Like it doesn't really do anything. Like 2 mana is a big difference between like that and the 1 mana cards that we're playing. It's like half, like twice as expensive. It's a pretty big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Thoracle is like not the worst card in the deck. If you're gonna like play one of the lab mana effects, definitely play Thoracle.
Yeah, for
Just because
sure.
of the toughness. But um,
I mean,
I just found.
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, you got it.
I'll give you Novice Inspector, but Phantasmal Shieldback, like I'm playing Thoracle over this fucking card, right? But
So it's like
you play the deck though. You know what I mean? Like this is your
that's
deck.
fair.
I'm not shitting on it. I just outside looking in, these are the questions people are gonna have.
Yeah, I mean, I'd just say that like it's half the cost of Thoracle, which is a big difference, and you can always like use your Plagon ability to kill it, so that actually just like cycles a card, and that's like Novice Inspector and Thraben Inspector, and because the clue just like is a cantrip at the end of the day. It's not like actually a terrible card.
How do you kill it?
So Plagon like targets it with its ability, um,
Target creature
and then
control
like
assigns combat damage. Oh, okay. So you didn't say
yeah,
that. Okay, okay, my fault.
no, all good, all good.
I got you.
Sorry, I left that out.
Yeah, my kind of deck is infinite mana outlet, which it kind of is, right? A Hull Breaker
Yeah,
outlet and a Displacer Kitten deck, and this feeds all of it. It's just for me
yeah. I
as
mean, it's
Zorius is kind of rough, but I mean I don't think this deck is like crying. Like I did a lot of work with Tivit for like a year. I was just bored. With this deck, I feel like it'd be fun.
Yeah, man, I have a lot of fun playing this deck. But like, if you like playing control, this deck is great for you. Like,
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I got the gist of it. It's pretty much, it's you can hold up your Plagon to draw 4 cards, or what you just saw, weekend play, easy turn. He's easy to cast, easy turn 2 Plagon, draw 2 cards and flicker everything. And what I like with flicker decks, I used to play flicker at Traxa, and it's like I could do this instant speed. Like if you're gonna remove Plagon, I'll respond and flicker it, right? Like that's what I kind of like about stuff like this. I'd kind of like not playing the deck and looking at this list. I kind of like the Valley Flood Caller lines, but again, I like that you're like, hey, I get that's a good card. It's one of the best cards right now, but I'm gonna give up on card quality and add synergy. And I think Magda's a top 5 deck, and Magda plays 7 dwarfs, 7/1/1s that tap for treasures that go with your commander. So I feel like if someone's sleeving this up, I wouldn't just rip apart your list and just add the cards that they want. Like if you want a couple cards that we're just talking about, Thoracle, something like that. But I feel like you've done work with the deck. The deck's going crazy right now. I'm gonna try to edit this pod as fast as I can and put it out. Like this deck is hot, and it's not just this is just a new deck. People are playing it. Like no, I think in 6 months this is gonna be a top 10 deck conversion because like how I'm not saying it's easy to pilot, but we literally, hey, I can easy turn 4 win with this Azorius deck going last with interaction. Like not a lot of decks could do that. And you're in blue, right? Like I just feel like giving it being Azorius, like I feel like put the deck over the top. You know what I mean? Like if this deck was mono
yeah,
blue or mono white or red white or whatever, like I feel like white blue is like the perfect color pairing for this. It has the best flickers.
yeah. We wish we had another color, but like the obviously the white blue is really good for like controlling the game. Obviously, like it's known for that. So
Yeah. Yeah, for
it
sure.
works out.
Yeah, and I feel like with like Derevi, right? That's like Bant. But Derevi's doing different things. I feel like this deck doesn't need blue. Like Jeskai, you need red. Like what do you need red for? Right? Breach?
Yeah,
Like you don't need black. You don't need Esper. Right? I'm just gonna
yeah.
tutor for my dumb guys, but that's cool. I mean, that was it's pretty good, short and sweet podcast. Is there anything else? Anything you wanted to plug? I'm gonna put the links below. I found you on your Moxfield list. I'm gonna put. Is there play on Discord I can throw people to or?
No, there's no plague on Discord yet, but if someone wants to make one, they can go for it. You know, maybe
Okay.
you could be that person.
I haven't even played
But
the deck yet.
yeah, I don't know.
That's funny,
But
man. I bet there's
yeah,
one
no,
out there
no plug.
somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I saw one and I like clicked on it, but it said it like the invite expired or whatever. So you know, but
Okay, I'll look. I'll do some digging. And are you in my Discord?
yeah,
Okay, so if anybody
I think
has any
so.
questions, hit me up. I'll throw you his Discord. He's great. He obviously won a tournament with the deck. I'm super excited, and I love like at first I hated the bans, but I love that now this deck can become a thing. Now, like, watch out for this stupid Starfish. Like, I'm terrified. I played against it once, but the TNT player just Thoracled like turn 3, so I didn't see it do its thing. But I was like, keep my eye on it. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
so
sure.
I appreciate the pod. That's about all the time we had. I did 2 pods tonight, so I'm whooped. You're the fucking best, man. But anything else you wanted to say?
Nah, enjoy riding the beach, everyone. Hope you have fun with the deck.
I can't wait for the thumbnail that you sent me.
It's gonna be fun. Yeah. But
Man.
thanks. This was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, man. Anytime if you win another tournament, I'll have you back on, dude.
Fuck yeah.
But all
All
right,
right.
guys, that's the time. Y'all have a good day. Hit the subscribe button. Peace out.